Giant's reputation for safety. In fact, critics have challenged response times and also accused Toyota of being secretive about problems with cars already on the road. Now, joining me this morning from Atlanta is Jim Carter. He is a veteran class action attorney who actually took on Toyota and won. This was a case involving a woman killed in a collision unrelated to the current recall. Jim, thanks for being with us this morning.
Good morning, Karen. Thank you.
So this morning we're talking about yet another recall. 400,000 of Toyota's 2010 hybrid models, including the popular Prius, being recalled for problems with the anti-lock braking systems. Now, just give us your estimation. How much bigger do you think this is going to get for Toyota?
Well, I think the longer Toyota stalls and avoids coming to the table with all of the problems they're having, I think it'll spread even further than it is. As you know, their main problem has been a sudden acceleration, sudden unintended acceleration. This is an issue with a hybrid vehicle where there is a programming glitch that causes braking problems. So I think that Toyota is going to be in for more and more lawsuits until they come to the table and get a grip on the problem and go forward from there.
Yeah, now, Jim, this is interesting because in some cases, our Kyung-La has been reporting from Tokyo about a lot of this. They seem to know, I guess, that they want to reprogram software in the Prius hybrid model, yet for the plug-in and for the Lexus, I believe, they say that right now they don't have a fix, but they're saying that the cars are safe to drive. Is that good advice from this car company?
I don't think so, although these problems may not occur in only a small percentage of cars. Most of them may not have a problem at all. However, if you're going 30 miles an hour, that's 44 feet a second. If you have a fraction of a second delay, say a half a second, that's 22 feet. That'll get you out into an intersection when you're trying to stop at a stop sign, and it's a very dangerous condition.
Well, Toyota's facing right now at least 34 class action lawsuits. Also, I believe 12 individual lawsuits so far. This number could grow. In some cases, though, people are seeking damages for either death or injuries due to the sudden acceleration problem. So is this just the tip of the iceberg in terms of these lawsuits?
I think it could be. It depends on what the scope of the injuries are. Fortunately, they don't seem to have been that many deaths yet, about 19 deaths out of over 2,200 complaints over the years since 2003. But if something does happen, that's going to come back to haunt Toyota. Every time somebody gets injured catastrophically or killed or a family gets wrecked by one of these problems, Toyota is going to catch a lot of grief because they're going to get sued. Is
it all at the feet of Toyota? Meaning you just mentioned that there have been complaints dating back years. In fact, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration says it received some 2,000 complaints, and this is for the sudden acceleration, dating back to 2004. Yes. Yet it took 6 years for the recall to happen. What should the government's role have been as well?
Well, the government's role is to investigate defects. They have an Office of Defects Investigation. They are to ask questions of these car companies. They have subpoena powers, they have discovery abilities, and they can ask for corporate documents and look at these things. However, the car companies historically, and I'm not saying Toyota's any worse than any other car company in this regard, they historically guard their recall issues very, very carefully. They try to limit the scope to certain models. They try to limit the scope to certain years. And when they do that, a lot of times the government just doesn't have the power or the resources to keep up with everything and to find out everything they need to know. Very often these types of issues come out of the class action lawsuits where lawyers and engineers get together, discover material from the car companies, and from that material they really discover what the real problem is, and eventually it'll probably get fixed.
Right, and you know, it's interesting that you say that because our Drew Griffin has been doing some special investigations on this, and he talked to some auto experts who are saying they don't want this to be an electronics problem, an electronic system problem in its cars. That is quite an expensive undertaking to fix. Do you think that cost factors in to some of the decision making about exactly what is wrong with some of these cars?
It does in every case. When we discover material from car companies, it all comes out under protective orders, so it's generally never made public. However, they have task forces, they do cost studies, they say what's the least we can get away with, and generally that's what the course of action is for the car company. What is the very least we can do to get past this crisis?
Wow. All right. Well, thanks for your take this morning. Jim Carter, class action attorney specializing in the auto industry. Appreciate your insight this morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen.